Hi everyone and welcome back. This is part 3 of our 3-part series regarding different loan types. And today we're going to be discussing VA loans with my special guest and loan officer, Lisa Freitas with Golden Eagle Mortgage. Thank you, Lisa, and welcome back.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
So let's dive in, Lisa. What is a VA loan?
A VA loan is backed by the Department of Veteran Affairs, and it assists veterans in purchasing a primary residence.
Okay, great. So only veterans can apply for this loan. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, them and their spouses. So you can't really get outside co-borrowers. You can, but they won't be able to utilize the VA benefits.
Okay, so a veteran defined that can utilize this, is this any veteran, anybody who has served for the military, correct?
In general, veterans who've served 90 consecutive days on active duty or 181 days during peacetime.
Okay.
In some cases, a veteran may be eligible with less than those amount of days if they're discharged due to a service-connected disability.
Okay, and how do you verify that?
So we pull a certificate of eligibility for each applicant to determine their specific eligibility.
Okay, so that's for the requirements. What's the minimum credit score required for a VA loan?
So in general, VA doesn't have a minimum credit score. It really varies per lender. We can go down to a 580 credit score with some compensating factors. Of course, the higher the loan amount, the higher the credit score that is required.
Okay, so is there a limit to a VA loan?
It's specific per buyer and their financial situation.
So is there any down payment that's required for a VA buyer?
No, the most significant benefit of a VA loan is that there's no down payment required, and also it does not carry mortgage insurance. So even if you're putting less than 20% down, you're not going to have mortgage insurance with a VA loan.
Okay,
So that's a huge benefit.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, they can do zero down, 100% financing, and there's none of that private mortgage insurance that we talked about with a FHA loan, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I would think that if I was a veteran, that would be an ideal loan type. And you can put down though, correct? It doesn't have to be 100% financing.
Right. You can put any amount down that you would like to, but if you'd like to utilize your full benefit or you don't have funds for down payment, it gives veterans that opportunity to purchase a home without any down payment at all.
So Lisa, what are the closing costs associated with the VA loan?
Well, it varies, Donna. So if you believe you qualify for a VA loan, give me a call and I could assess your eligibility.
So in your experience, what would you say is the biggest misconception with the VA loan?
I would say the biggest misconception is that a lot of people assume that VA loans are more difficult or take longer to close, which is not the case at all. We can close them within the same timelines as any other loan. Another misconception is with the pest inspection. Sometimes agents are educated with the program and they assume that their sellers have to pay for the inspection and all the repairs, which isn't the case. That can be negotiated for the buyers or sellers to pay. This is why it's important to work with an experienced lender and real estate agent because we would know that, and it would be a disservice to our veterans should you not accept an offer from a veteran when the loans are great loans. They're no different than running a conventional or an FHA or any other loan product. We can get them done within the timelines.
Yeah, and I agree. I have to say that a lot of unexperienced agents and then homeowners or sellers, that are looking to sell their home and they receive an offer from a VA buyer, they automatically think, oh, I have to pay this, and that, especially, again, going back to the pest inspection. Yes, if the home does have dry rot or termites, right, what we call Section 1, that would be, the VA does require that be repaired prior to close of escrow, correct?
It will need to be addressed, but the seller doesn't necessarily have to be the one to pay for it. Those costs can be negotiated. We had one together where I reached out to the listing agent to explain the product, explain the loan to them, and in detail so that they understood you're going to disservice this veteran for no reason at all. These are things that we can address through the process.
Right. And so even the veteran can pay for those repairs, like you're saying.
Correct.
And then just so our audience understands, anybody who's not familiar, again, with a pest report, a pest inspection, a termite company comes out, and what they do is they will look at is there active infestation of termites, of insects, essentially, right? And or dry rot. But then they also mention what we call Section 2, and that is anything that can lead to a Section 1 item. Now, does VA require Section 2 be repaired or addressed?
Not all Section 2 items need to be addressed. It's really specific as to what item it is on Section 2. So, of course, we would have our underwriter take a look at it and see which items are required to be addressed. But
So it's really a case-by-case scenario,
yes,
correct?
It is.
Okay. So if you are a VA buyer, I would say, or a seller even, don't let a VA loan scare you. Let it be known that, yes, it can be, and I can say from experience that Lisa has closed VA loans for me specifically within 21 days. Not a problem.
Yeah, it's not a problem at all. We run it just like any other loan.
So to piggyback off of what we just talked about, Section 1, in my own experience, something very personal was when my sister, who is a veteran, purchased her first home, and there was Section 1 found. There were active termites infestation, and in order to close the loan at the time, the home did need to be fumigated. It was something that the underwriter called out, and the sellers, luckily they were willing to work with my sister, make it happen. And the way we did that is I moved the sellers, they vacated for a few days while the home got fumigated and it was cleared. Once it was cleared, they were able to move back into their home, and we closed escrow successfully. So my sister was able to purchase her first home because a seller took the chance on her, and again, we made it work.
Yes.
And that's why I think, again, like we've talked about, the experience. It matters who you work with, because agents and lenders that are experienced are gonna find a way to make it work so you can get that home.
Yes. And just to mention, because we didn't mention this before, you do need a pest inspection always with the VA loan. You don't need that with the conventional or FHA loan. But a lot of times we get those pest inspections and there's nothing that needs to be addressed. Or, there are the Section 1 items, maybe some Section 2, but we always can get that accomplished when we all work together.
100%.
Yes.
And I just want to mention that a pest inspection typically in our area especially doesn't run more than $300. I would say the most expensive one I've ever seen is around $275, although we're not, quoting prices, but I just want to say it's not a costly inspection. So Lisa, what would you say are the advantages of a VA loan?
There are a lot of pros to VA loans. There's a lot of flexibility when it comes to debt to income ratios, credit requirements, and then of course, no down payment and no mortgage insurance. I mean, those two right there is huge. You're not gonna get that really with any other product out there, yeah. Another huge advantage is the Tidewater initiative. What that is a VA appraiser, if they go out to the property and maybe they don't think the value is going to come in or it's going to appraise for the purchase price, they would let us know so that you would have the opportunity as the agent to dig up any comps or any supporting factors to that value. So that's huge.
That is huge because oftentimes appraisers will not look at the comps that the realtor brings in, especially the agents representing obviously the buyers and the sellers in a lot of instances. So you're saying I can gather up my own comps, provide it to that appraiser, and they will consider them, correct?
Correct.
And then what would you say would be more of the disadvantages, if there are any?
One of the disadvantages is there may be a VA funding fee depending on eligibility. Another disadvantage is you really can't have a co-borrower, although they may be living in the property. It is only a spouse that could be on the loan with you. So
Okay.
that's, something else to think about. And another thing, it is only for a primary property. So you can't buy an investment or a second home with the VA loan.
Okay. And in our second series, we were talking about FHA loans, which is another government insured loan. And you had mentioned that a buyer could purchase something like a fourplex and live in one of the units and rent out the rest. Does this go for VA as well?
So yes, just like a FHA loan, you can buy up to a 4-unit property as long as you live in one of them as your primary.
Okay. And how long do they have to occupy that property?
So when you're purchasing a home, you want to live in that primary residence for at least 12 months.
Okay, with the VA, and then they can move out and rent out the property
Yes.
if they want?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have a little bit of an investment if they choose to go that route?
Yeah,
After the 12 months?
Right. Initially,
Okay.
they are purchasing as their primary, so they are committing to living in that home for that first year.
Okay, and a VA buyer, how many VA loans can a VA buyer have at one time?
VA buyer can purchase another home with a VA loan. We would pull their certificate of eligibility to see how much entitlement they have left to go towards that second home. And of course, it has to be a primary residence.
Okay. Lisa, I just want to say all the information that you provided today regarding VA loans has been so invaluable. Like, I learned a lot just, and again, just my experiences, but all the insights you shared. Is there anything else you'd want to share with me or share with the audience?
Yes, there is actually. My father was a Vietnam veteran. He was a disabled veteran. And it's unfortunate that he wasn't able to utilize these benefits to purchase a home. He just wasn't aware of them, wasn't educated. I think it's so important for us to let our community know that we have this available to veterans. We need to serve those who served us.
100%.
So please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We want to be able to guide you through the process and serve you in the way that you served us.
Well, Lisa, thank you for sharing that with me. I had no idea. I knew your dad was a veteran, but I had no idea that he didn't know that he could utilize those benefits. So for those of you that are listening to this today, if you're a veteran or, again, like Lisa said, a community member, it's so important that we help our veterans and we help them in their journey to purchasing a home, getting the housing. So please reach out to Lisa, reach out to myself so we can help you as a veteran purchase your first home or maybe even your second home.
Yes.
And with that, this concludes part 3 of our 3-part series in regards to the 3 different loan types. Again, I want to thank Lisa Freitas with Golden Eagle Mortgage for doing these series with me, educating our community on the types of loans that are available out there. I am going to have Lisa's contact information in the description below, but don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, we'll see you soon.